Okay. So welcome. Let's give some seconds in order allowing people to join.
You don't have to turn these on, right?
Because there is a big queue at the entrance.
Yeah, no, we're in demand.
¿Qué haces entonces? Qué malo.
So I think we can start with introductions on the room. So welcome to this panel on healthcare. Basically, the title is very long, but basically what we are going to see is that how we can foster technology in order to improve patient quality and the way we treat different disease in the healthcare system. Before introducing the panel, let me give you a short overview on why this is relevant. So we are seeing a big change, a big technological change that is coming really on health. On the other side, we also see a lot of needs regarding improving the quality of the health. We want to have better lives, longer and better quality of life for a longer time. This is putting also a lot of pressure on the system itself and in the sustainability of the system. And we guess that the technology is there and it's going to arrive. Somehow, really pushing the technology on the last mile into the system, it's not that easy, right? For different reasons. We are going to talk about them on this panel. There are compliance reasons, there are also market maturity reasons, there are different, different approaches depending on the system, right? So we are going to explore how we can help technology, or how can we use technology to really improve, let's say, patient outcome and healthcare results. And for that, I have the pleasure to have a great panel with 4 speakers representing 4 different approaches. So on my left, we have Jorge Pou. He's Commercial and Innovation Operations Director at GSK. Thank you for coming, Jorge. Julio Sanchez from CINFA. He's Corporate Development Innovation Director. Welcome, Julio. Robert Schutz, Managing Director at Masnex. Welcome, Robert. And Carmen Pauline Theo at Doctomatic. They represent different approaches. We have pharmaceutical companies, we have an international perspective, we have a startup approach, which I think is the richness of this panel in order to have different perspectives on the subject. Since you are from different companies, maybe some of them are well known, some of them not that much, I'll give you the opportunity for 1 minute, but please, 1 minute. If it's 30 seconds, it's much better, to introduce your company. So Jorge, can we start with GSK, please?
Sure, thank you, Xavier. Yeah, of course, I'm part of GSK Spain. Probably most of you already know GSK, but we are a biopharmaceutical company leader on several therapeutic areas like vaccination, like respiratory, immunology, and oncohematology. So we state that we want to unite together science, technology, and talent to get ahead of disease. So this is the core of what we are doing here.
Excellent, Jorge. Julio.
Okay, we are also a pharma company, but I think we are quite complementary because we have a focus much more on the retail pharmacies for more day-to-day products that you can take for chronic diseases and also for acute diseases. We are present in Spain and the south of Europe. In Spain, we are the leader in this retail pharmacy, and we really believe that the retail pharmacy has a paper to play within the systems and that we can also enable that role through technology.
Thank you, Julio. Robert.
Yeah, so at the core of everything at Masnex is patient advocacy. I've never heard of another industry where our customers trust us as little as in medtech and in pharma. And so what I do is I help to build trust with the American market and also help companies to fundraise from patient advocacy donors and high net worth individuals who actually fund many of the top hospitals in the United States. I focus on Spain because I believe many of the entrepreneurs here are operating in an ecosystem where there's so little funds, and at some point they need to come to the States to realize their dreams. And I think many of these companies are run by very strong founders and are frankly undervalued. So as an American investor, I know many, such as myself, that would love to be able to invest in more companies for the same amount of budget.
Thank you, Robert. Carmen.
My name's Carmen Rios. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Doctomatic. We have an AI-powered remote patient monitoring API solution, which is key for primary and secondary care, and we're currently in use within clinical settings for cost-efficacy optimization and as a remote patient solution in rural areas. We currently operate in Spain, Mexico, Brazil, Colombia, and Ecuador, and we're hoping, we are in year 3, we just turned 3 this weekend, to open up a couple of European territories, and we're also, in conversations with a large telemedicine provider in the US. The US is a great market.
Excellent, Carmen. Well, and myself, I am Xavier Le Sauvage. I am partner at SDLI, Sociedad de la Innovación in Spanish, Innovation Society. We are an agency specialized in innovation, especially in healthcare, since we are working there for over 10 years in innovation, open innovation, and co-creation projects. All right, so let's explore how we can use technology and what are the challenges on deploying technology in healthcare. So, let's start with the main challenges. And we can start, I think the greatness of this panel, or the idea of this panel, is having the 4 voices for each question. So it's not one question per person, but I think having the different approaches. But we need to start with someone. So Julio, can we start with you? Yeah, and sure. Can we start talking about the main challenges you are facing in order to develop health tech projects in healthcare? And which are the main initiatives you are driving to overcome those points?
I think that any innovation needs to start fixing a real problem, because otherwise we will be doing innovation just for doing innovation that probably don't have a real application in the real world. And I believe that we have 2 key challenges in any health system. The first one is the longevity of the people. We are used to now to live more than 82 years old in Spain. It seems that in 2015 we will be even much, our longevity will be higher. So this is a key challenge that we need to fix, because we need to serve more people with the same resources. Saying same resources or probably with less resources. And the other key challenge is chronicity. So I think we need to attack these 2 challenges if we want to keep having the same level of assistantial level that we have nowadays. How we can face this? We can face it in every point of the patient journey, from prevention, from earlier diagnostics, from adheration to the treatments, to do the correct treatments for the correct person. I think that technology can help in any levels of the national system, but I think we need to think about these 2 key problems.
Yeah. Anyone willing to also share some?
I'll say a word or two. I believe actually it starts with the entrepreneurs. Many of the entrepreneurs are folks with scientific backgrounds, and in science school, they don't teach empathy, right? So what we need to do is to establish trust with the community that we serve so that they are willing to take the risk on you. Right now, in this world, there are people making money off the way the world is right now. And what everyone wants to do is supplant those people. How are you going to do that? You have to talk to the people at the very top that are willing to take that risk. The only way you're going to be able to build that trust is by trying harder to show them that you care.
The only reason we're all here is because we're all at one point a patient, or we know someone that's ill. So I think that's kind of where our starting point. And then in line with what you said, Jesus, preventative care. If we all made sure that we were taking care of our, of the precious gift that life is, then being, needing solutions would be less necessary, and we would be able to focus on those, rare diseases and big challenges like cancer.
Yeah. I do believe that health tech will have a more impactful implementation if it's developed from within. So one of the key challenges we're facing and that we see is precisely to have the healthcare professionals willing to become entrepreneurs and willing to develop these spin-offs from the investigation and development centers within the hospitals. We know that the healthcare system per se has tons of challenges. Julio was mentioning some of them. There's a sustainability problem for the healthcare system, and I think that's shared worldwide. But specifically in Spain, we are all aware of that. There is a sustainability problem. So how can we address that problem? I do think that health tech and digital health has a word on it, but probably it will be more impactful if it comes from within, having healthcare professionals becoming entrepreneurs, healthcare-preneurs.
Yeah, very good point. I see a lot of technology coming in healthcare, but when I compare it to other sectors, I guess that it's taking longer. I don't know if you have the same perception, and if you think that there is any specific point or area that is challenging this adoption by the system, because the main thing, and one of the key points that Europe is trying to overcome is the adoption of the system, right? It is, and if you compare across countries, there are different levels of adoption. We all look at Germany because they have new legislation, new bodies that are really helping for that, and we say, well, we guess in Spain that will come, and probably we are pushing for that. But in general adoption, it's a challenge. And what are your thoughts regarding adoption? Do you think we have a lot of barriers from the system? Do you think this is something that is natural? It will be overcome? There will be a stick point at a certain moment? Yeah. Robert?
I do. I think that adoption is the key point here, because we're all trying to develop the next generation of solutions that are going to alleviate pain and suffering, and yet their doctor hasn't recommended it yet. So how do you get through to the key opinion leaders? How do you influence people from the people that they already trust? This is exactly what I do. And it's not about the company working better or the technology working better. It's about understanding who is in these patient communities. They didn't ask to be members of this community. It chose them.
I think technology's moving really fast and our regulatory bodies aren't in place. So that's kind of, I think that's the biggest barrier for small companies like ourselves that we're trying to get into market fast, because now we're finding a lot of investors that want to do good and want to do impact. They're diversifying their portfolio with healthcare companies, but they expect the same results as an e-commerce. And we're a sanitary product.
Yeah.
And then our regulation is not moving fast enough for us to be able to, get into the healthcare system and then get, those challengers who are the ones who give you the opportunity to start operating in a healthcare setting and proving your value.
Yeah. If I may, I think it also depends on what we consider the system, because we try to consider the system just the primary and secondary care, but the system is much more broader. We have the pharmacies, we have other specialties. We have what happened at home. That we need to focus a lot on how we can move things from the pure system to home. And the other part, from my point of view, is that sometimes we try to implement the edge technology while we don't have fixed the basics. I'm allergic to clavulanic acid. If I have an accident in Sevilla or in Barcelona, the doctor that is going to attend me is not going to know automatically that I'm allergic to clavulanic. And believe me that this technologically should be simple to fix. Yeah. But it's something that is not happening right now, because we don't have a unified data of my data in one place. So I think that sometimes before going to the full edge technology to implement in the systems, we need to think on how we believe in quick ideas that can be implemented from within, as Jorge was mentioning.
Fixing the basics, basically. Of course, I do think that on the clinical pathway, digital health has a lot of challenges ahead. And most of them are related to fixing the basics, data interoperability, etc., reimbursement models. How do we foster solutions that can endure within the system? Because I'm obsessed with implementing and fostering, from our pharma perspective, fostering solutions that can endure within the system, that are born within the healthcare system. I hate the word pilot, so I hate it because that goes to nowhere.
So do I.
So it's how do we do it? And the only solution in a healthcare system, at least in Spain, because with 85% of healthcare system being public, is how do we address the public administration to effectively be able to purchase these kind of solutions? How do we help them? What do we need to do? But there are also some points in which technology, or some buckets in which technology are already impacting the health system or health that normally we don't talk about. I just briefly will mention it, that is the way we conduct R&D from the pharma perspective, for example. That's huge. Technology is already implemented, the impact is huge, and it's helping the way the pharmaceutical companies bring innovative molecules to patients and to society, and that's having a huge impact. And we are talking about synthetic data via Gen AI, we are talking about digital twins, we are talking about facilitating the way we recruit people for the clinical essays, etc. So that's huge. And another one, and we were talking about it, Julia and I, is production. It's also a key part of the health system we normally don't talk about, and it's the way we produce and the way artificial intelligence is already implemented in our factories is amazing. If any of us could have the opportunity to go to one of our factories, we have one in Aranda de Duero, which is huge. Is the paradise for a technologist like me. It's amazing the degree of technology that is already applied there. It's amazing.
Sure, excellent. Okay, and another point that it's very relevant in this sector is the ecosystem, because the value chain is very long and it's very complex. So let's say, how relevant is the ecosystem, on the innovation strategy, and how can we manage that? And Robert, can you start?
Yeah, well, I think Boston might be part of many companies' innovation strategies. I think that's foolish, because you need to figure it out before you come to Boston. Many companies from around the world think that they need to, it's actually their ecosystem's fault. They're in the wrong place and they need to go someplace else. We love that in Boston because we make money off of all of you. You all have the dreams of coming to my hometown, and so few of those companies actually succeed. So while we're known as being the largest, most prominent life science ecosystem in the world, many people could actually look at us as being some of the biggest losers, actually, because so many failures happen every single day.
Yeah.
Although the ecosystem is important, and you'll find all the experts and many folks, and the depth of the ecosystem is very important. So it can't be ignored, but with today's modern technologies, you don't necessarily need to be there. You can be based in Spain and have deep connections with people in the States just the same.
And from a pharma company, from a perspective?
I mean, for us, are really important. Actually, when 3-4 years ago we started, because we feel that there were an empty space for a national pharma company to play a role in this innovation space. If you look, we were a little bit tired of seeing our friends from GSK, AstraZeneca, Novartis. They really realized that creating ecosystem is important, because ways to innovate are changing, and you need to be connected with people that is better than you are. From our point of view, it's important because you can learn and you can share, and this is what ecosystems needs to really empower, and it has this multiplicator impact. For us, we are working with many entities in Spain, from Lanzadera in Valencia. Here in Madrid, we work with Anave, with others. And we are seeing that the more people we talk, the more people we connect, the more we learn. And sometimes we talk with someone in an event through this ecosystem, and we don't do nothing. But 4 years later, we remember that guy that was doing artificial intelligence for rehabilitation, and we just launched a pilot, well, not a pilot actually, because we moved to 3,000 pharmacies with a rehabilitation tool just to help patients with really, let's say, not really hard, but minor articulations conditions, to be able to remove people from the system and to give them attendance at home. But this came from an event 4 years ago that probably, if you ask to any of us, it was not an important event, but this has appeared thanks to this ecosystem power.
Yeah. I'm completely aligned with Julio. Actually, it's not only that it's important to work on an ecosystem mindset, it's that it doesn't make sense at all to do it on a different way. For us, it's like, if you try to innovate from your ivory tower, it's like, what are you doing? You will not have no impact, no? So the way we are approaching this at GSK is we relate and we approach our traditional partners, which could be scientific associations, which could be patients associations, healthcare organizations, public administration, but also innovative companies or innovative sectors. We're talking about tech providers, entrepreneurs, venture capitals, etc. So in that sense, academia, of course, as well, in that sense is the way in which we believe that the solutions that we will have a material impact.
Yeah. Carmen, your perspective, very important from the ecosystem, because you are the startup.
Communities are invaluable. Like and they're your support network. They're, I have this Mark here he's part of my community, my support network. He runs another startup, and we face the same challenges. So talking about it and saying, oh, who helped you deliver regulatory? Who should I be speaking to at the specific pharma? who's the challenger at that hospital that's going to give you an opportunity to actually deploy a project and be able to prove the value that you can add to the system. So in line with what you guys said, like if we don't talk and we make things happen, we're going to be stale. So yeah, highly valuable, the power of community and the fact that we're here today too.
Okay, I'll see we have some minutes. So before talking about the future, which is kind of the closing of the session, I would like to introduce a new perspective, which is talking about passion, because the panel is about passion, and we talked about passion indirectly. But let's say, do you involve the passion in your innovation? How do you do it? Are you comfortable with that or not? Technology and passion are friends or not really? How does it work? I don't know. Who wants to
I
take
think
this?
this is one of the weirdest questions, but I can give you my point of view. I think the passion is important for everything you do in life.
Exactly.
But we need to be careful because we all tend to love our ideas, and sometimes our ideas are wrong. So we don't need to confuse passion with this, obsession that this is the way, this is the way. And I think you need to work with passion, working with technology or with innovation, but also being super open-minded to change from minute one. Because otherwise, you want to go your road, but you go to the wall. So you need to be passionate, but flexible. I will say the other way around, flexible and passionate.
If I weren't passionate, I wouldn't be here today.
Right.
Good answer.
Because it fuels my perseverance, my persistence. Those days that I want to give up, to remind myself that I'm here, because I want to fix part of the problem. I actually moved to healthcare because my previous business partner died of cancer, and he granted me the gift of purpose. So purpose, passion, and obviously, you've got to have your feet on the ground. So some days I do feel absolutely crackers, but it's part of the journey.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same, actually. It's true what Julio was mentioning, and actually I think we have the author of the book, Don't Get in Love of the Problem, Love the Solution, here at South Summit this year, which is basically the idea, But I would say that passion is one of the things that define me as a person. So everything I do is on a passionate way, and normally people that know me, and most of you, there are many people here, say that they see bright on my eyes, So I do think there's passion when you do things that you think that matter, and you were talking about purpose and the impact of the things you do. Passion is key, And for example, we as a company, so we have the ambition to impact in 2.5 billion people by the end of 2030. So imagine the impact of that. Yep. Imagine of anything that we can do on a digital side, on an innovation side, to foster that objective. We are talking of nearly 1/3 of the population globally. So this is amazing. When you wake up every morning, it's like, okay, come on, I'm working on a company and I'm helping to do that. So that's critical, really.
So I'll just say that passion's at the core of everything I do. Business doesn't do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. We do it because there's incentives. So while I might be passionate, you also have to understand that parallel to that, you also have to understand you're a business. And that's why people do the right thing. If it weren't business, then we would have done it already. Okay? And so, again, it goes back to that establishing trust. And if you can prove to the powers that be, globally, the highest net worth people who care about that disease or that condition, that you're more passionate than the next guy, that's how you get investment.
Okay, so maybe some final words about the future, and how do we see, let's say, technology deployed in order to foster innovation and really helping passion to improve their conditions. And Jorge, do you want to take that?
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, when we talk about the future, it's not about the future of technology or digital health. It's about the future of healthcare by itself. And I always say it's about people, and it's about healthcare professionals and patients, and that relationship. And the future for me is technology being an enabler of that relationship. The technology being an enabler of the healthcare professionals so that they can do their job in an easiest way or whatever. So, for example, if we help them shortening time to diagnosis, if we help prevention through digital tools, etc. But it's always technology as an enabler, and health is about people. It's about patients and healthcare professionals.
Thanks.
If I may, I see three big points that for me are going to be in the future. The first one is self-led health. We are all taking much more careful about our health, and I think this is important that we enable it through education and technology. Second one is interoperability of systems. I envision it, or I visualize that systems to be connected from the pharmacist to the surgeon room. I mean, this is ideally how it should be in the future. And the third one is that artificial intelligence will be a really important technology to help. I believe this is also a game changer if we use it correctly.
Thank you for queuing that up, because everyone wants to talk about AI, what we can do, how we can get the drugs faster, etc. I actually like another AI, actual intelligence. And there's even another one that people should think about if you're in technology, EI, emotional intelligence. All right, so if we're thinking about this, there's one reason why we're all in this room. It's all because we're all in the death sciences industry. We all face the same peril. This is why health is so important to us. So if we're doing this right and we're using technology in the right way, it allows us to operate at the top of our human license, to do what we do the best as human beings, which is to connect with one another.
I think in line with what Jesus said, preventative care, and taking care at home. So the liquid hospitals that we're, listening talk about so much, that's actually, so that we can actually focus on what are the real difficult cases. But you're responsible for making sure that you're taking care of the gift of life and your healthcare.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so thank you very much for your opinion and your view on this exciting panel on healthcare. And I guess you really enjoyed and get some learning. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.